based on the House of Detention and also the UNOPS project. I am pleased to update you on the progress of the new House of Detention project. Last week, Minister Sabo, our Kingdom Relations representative, visited the current facility to review progress on the new detention facility that will serve our island. This project is crucial for our justice system and is being done in two phases. Phase 1. This stage focuses on the designing and the procuring both transitional and long-term detention facility. It has been fully financed by the Ministry of Interior and Kingdom Relations, BZK, representing the Netherlands. Phase 2. This is the construction phase, which will cost approximately 51.6 million United States dollars. St. Martin is stepping up to co-fund this phase, showing our commitment to improving detention conditions. Right now, the agreement is being reviewed by St. Martin, BZK, and UNOPS. We are finalizing feedback, and UNOPS is working on establishing a clear timeline for St. Martin's contribution. This project is essential for St. Martin's future, ensuring we have a safe, functional detention facility that meets modern standards. I'll go over to the customs success. I want to personally congratulate the new management team that I've put together and all custom officers for their excellent work over the past weeks. The new management team was installed by my person after identifying the neglect of the current management due to workload. They've been working tirelessly to protect our borders, and the results are impressive. We've confiscated and destroyed over 100 kilos of marijuana and 5 kilos of cocaine. One person was fined 5,500 guilders for violating restricted area regulations. Medications were also seized due to improper documentation. We are also focusing on improving team morale, which is reflected in better punctuality and less sick leave. The customs team is united, and their success shows it. Great work to everyone involved. As I've also mentioned before, as someone that worked within the Justice Ministry, it's my foundation. So therefore, it's easier for me to assess the situation within the Justice Ministry and basically come with solutions on how we can mitigate in moving forward. It's all about a togetherness. It's not based on my person as we are working towards a better country. KPSM, Police Vehicles and Cells. Our police force is facing challenges with a severe shortage of vehicles, which hampers their ability to respond quickly. I'm happy to report that we are in the process of procuring 9 vehicles, which will be financed through the Crime Fund. The necessary national decree is being reviewed by the Legal Affairs Department, and we expect quick approval so we can resolve this issue. We are also addressing the deplorable conditions of the police cells. It was sad and unfortunate that I also learned this through someone on the street that was recently arrested and heard it through the representatives from BZK. However, I will be addressing this issue with the management teams and the prosecutor's office, who I also understood from BZK received that information from the prosecutor's office, but the minister had no knowledge of such. Together with the National Recovery Program Bureau, NRPB, structural repairs will soon be made. However, given the urgency of the situation, we've already requested assistance from the Ministry of Interior and Kingdom Relations for immediate repairs, and I'm confident that a solution is on its way. The national decrees for civil servants under the Ministry of Justice. Batch 11 has been received back from the governor and is currently under review. With the aim of distributing it soon, discussions have taken place with the Finance Division of the Ministry of Justice regarding the progress of subsequent batches. Batch 12 has been forwarded from the ministry and is on its way to my cabinet for further processing. In the meanwhile, batch 13 has been finalized and is currently being reviewed by the HR team and will be submitted shortly after. Human trafficking and human smuggling. The Ministry of Justice is intensifying efforts to combat human trafficking and human smuggling with several new initiatives in place. The National Reporting Center is being established to provide prevention, protection, and partnership services to the community. A multidisciplinary task force is nearly complete, which will enforce the adult entertainment policy and tackle human trafficking as a top priority. In honor of the Anti-Trafficking Day on October 18, 2024, we will unveil the new branding for the National Reporting Center. The day before, a panel discussion on human trafficking will take place at the University of St. Martin, featuring experts on the topic. Additionally, a specialized training session for law enforcement, the media, and administrative personnel will be held later this month to strengthen our collective approach. This work is part of a broader strategy to protect the people of St. Martin and address this serious issue head-on. Immigration and Border Protection Service. The Immigration and Border Protection Service is working hard to align with our community to improve the quality of service in 2024. Our focus includes ensuring legal accountability and improving the quality of service. In saying so, when taking office, I've had more than 2,000 applications basically pending, 900 and something in one department, in one queue, 900 and something in the other queue, 200 and something in my queue, 90 something in the director's queue. This minister is a human being. We have basically rules and regulations on how you're supposed to follow the immigration process. The application is supposed to take about 4 months. However, we had applications still pending from 2022. I will be very straightforward and very transparent to the people of St. Martin. Since my tenure, I have also signed about more than 500 dispensation letters, which allows people to remain on the island pending their application. We have a border issue. We cannot do nothing about the people that is here. You should not be sending back anybody that is here over 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I have people that are here, even at my age of 37 that I went to school with, are undocumented today. It is our business as a country to take care of the people living here. It is our business to make sure that we also have monies in our coffers, so hence the reason why government has to come up with initiatives and incentives in order for us to make money, and the immigration process can also be very lucrative for our country.
Her first question was, GB has financial constraints, while at the same time it's mentioned GB is absorbing the costs. Basically, these don't go together. It is a contradiction. How sustainable is it then to keep the employees on? How will it physically be done? It should be noted that this is not the first time that GEBE has absorbed the cost of fuel. It was also done after Hurricane Irma and during COVID-19 pandemic. Again, for clarity's sake, GB informed the shareholder representatives that the costs involved with the fuel and the rental of the container generators will not be incorporated in the tariffs for the consumers to pay. Although GB has its financial constraints, the decision is not to burden the consumers with these costs. As mentioned earlier, it is expected, however, that consumers will comply with their payment obligation. The second question of MP De Wever, employees are overworked, not sure if they will also be underpaid, seeing the financial constraints. don't want this to become a situation like by Telem. The answer on this statement and question is NVGB assured the shareholder that management prioritizes the employees' well-being and addresses workload concerns. Overtime is being paid in line with NVGB policy, and currently there are no expected issues with paying bonuses, COLAs, or regular wages for both workers and management. Question 3 from MP De Wever. Is the billing system accurate? As stated previously, government understands the frustration that some consumers have faced since the hacking incident, which significantly impacted the billing system. The Commercial Department has introduced several tools to reduce errors and improve the precision of the billing process. These tools include enhanced verification steps and mechanisms to cross-check data, helping to ensure greater accuracy. While no system is entirely free of potential errors, and issues such as not receiving a bill or incorrect meter readings are sometimes part of normal daily operations, NVGB has procedures in place to quickly address any issues that may arise. Therefore, customers who may have concerns about the accuracy of their bills or are experiencing financial difficulties are encouraged by government to reach out to the GEBE customer service, as GB has stated their continued commitment to monitoring and refining the system to maintain and further improve accuracy. Question number 4 from MP De Wever. There is no contract with the SOL. Will this continue? Suggest bringing SOL, 7 Seas, the Prime Minister and Minister of VSA together on how to move forward in a collective effort. Also bring in Harbour regarding their throughput fee as the fuel is delivered directly to the port. NVGB is active negotiating with the SOL, the aims of which is to ensure and secure an agreement that aligns with the best interest of the company and its customers. The government intends to take a collective approach by negotiating with key stakeholders such as also 7 Seas, NGB and the Harbour to try and mitigate the fuel class expense in a sustainable manner. Question 5 of MP De Wever. Are the generators near to arriving on the island? The 20 megawatt generators contained in 20-feet containers are expected to arrive tomorrow, October 10th, 2024. They will be transported to the site, and by Friday, hopefully all the containers will be placed at the GEBB plant that has been prepared for that. Question by MP Doran. The throughput fee. Can clarity be given as to why this was established and by whom? As is known, financing was sought to build the causeway and for the repayment of the loan. The then government approved this fee to realize the project of the causeway. MP Gums. What is the current financial situation of GB? Also the debt position. No real audits were performed, so how do you know the reality of GB financial situation? How can, under these circumstances, sound decisions be made? As mentioned in previous meetings regarding NVGBE financial situation, formal audits have addressed the backlog of financial statements from 20 to 2022. These audits are finalized, and the audit for financial year 2023 is scheduled for completion by December 2024. NVGEBE financial situation is stable due to cost management and strict cash flow control, allowing the company to effectively manage additional expenses related to power generation challenges. Therefore, GB can absorb limited costs until the main generators are back online. The technical team at GB aims to have this generator back online before the end of 2024. I want, of course, to repeat that by paying the bills, we will also contribute to a more stable financial situation of the GEBE.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah, your social health insurances.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to keep in mind to help keep you and your family safe. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th, with the peak occurring between mid-August and late October. This hurricane season, be sure to put together a go bag. A disaster supply kit including a flashlight, batteries, cash, first aid and supplies, medications, and copies of your critical information if you need to evacuate. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin. Most common causes of fire in St. Martin?
In St. Martin, we have different types of fires. We have building fires, we have car fires, we have garbage fires, and we have bush fires.
Okay.
And the fires that we have the most are inside of buildings. As a matter of fact, last year we responded to over 56 building fires. This includes homes, but also businesses.
Okay. So how can residents reduce their risk of fire in their homes? What would the advice be?
Great question. First of all, you got to understand what are the main causes of fire. Usually, we have electrical fires, which are caused by overloading of appliances, overloading of outlets, current of outlets.
Right.
It could also be by malfunctioning of an electric equipment, like a simple thing like a fan. Okay. Sometimes you leave your fan plugged in and it might be on, but it's not spinning. It's building up heat, and that heat eventually causes the fan to catch fire.
Right.
Same thing happens by leaving a charging device in the outlet. You leave it alone. It warms up hot enough so that it could catch fire. So first of all, we advise don't leave your appliances in the outlets. Don't leave it in the current. If you don't need it, unplug it.
Right.
Even your TV, you don't use it, unplug it. It might even save you on your GB bill, because by having it on standby, it's still using Yes. Secondly, don't leave flames unattended. That's one thing we advise people. By leaving candles, whether it's candles or whether it's your stove, by leaving it unattended, it can cause a fire. And we have responded to those kind of fires as well by simply leaving a pot on fire, and before you know, it catches the rest of your kitchen.
Absolutely. So, Vanico, what are the key components of you kind of touched on a few little points there, but what are the key components of a home fire safety plan?
Great question. Key components are, first of all, limiting the cause of fire at home. As I mentioned just now, making sure that your outlets are not overused, making sure that you don't leave flames unattended. Those are basic rules. But next to that also, you want that in case anything happens, that people can leave the home in a safe manner. So make sure that the exits are not unnecessarily blocked.
Right.
Over these recent years, you might have heard of major casualties in abroad where people have died because exits were blocked. School children has lost their lives. Party goers have lost their lives in this cause because of security. Exits were locked, but now the same exit that for security reasons you blocked or locked now is actually imprisoning you during an emergency. So make sure that you at least have a plan in place that in case of an incident and fire, that people can quickly escape, if not through the front door, that they have a second exit.
Secondary exit. Yeah, yeah. How often should smoke detectors be tested and replaced?
Yeah. So that's also a part of the plan. Have smoke detectors in your home to be able to warn you in a quick manner if there's anything wrong in the part of the section of the house where you're not at. So we usually advise check your smoke detectors at least once a year and replace the batteries if need be. If not, at least once in the 3 years, replace your batteries.
Yeah, gotcha. Can you explain the importance of having a fire extinguisher at home?
So yes, so as we're going rapidly through this, indeed, another aspect of having your home fire safe is to have fire extinguishers, so that which are actually the best fire extinguishers are about 10 pounds of dry chemical, ABC, or you also have the CO2, so the carbon dioxide extinguishers. Those actually, you can use them safely around your computer devices, and that usually we advise is 6 kilograms. But at home, you might be able to use a smaller device, but check it. If you have a professional one, have it tested once a year. And even the one at home, please check that if it's still charged. Please check if not one of the kids kind of play with it and that it might have lose its charge. Also, in case you don't have a fire extinguisher, we advise to at least have a fire blanket as well.
Martin Bankers Association press release. On Wednesday, July 24, 2024, during the press briefing, I expressed my concern about vendors enforcing a minimum amount for card transactions and also passing on their bank charges to the consumers. I raised this issue with the central bank and requested that they address it with the St. Martin Bankers Association. I am pleased to see that the St. Martin Bankers Association, in collaboration with all banks on St. Martin, has issued a press release on this matter in September and continue to raise awareness in letting the consumers know their rights, as some businesses are taking advantage of the consumers. The press release clearly states that merchants are not allowed to enforce a minimum purchase limit for accepting debit or credit card payments. Customers have the right to use their cards for any transaction amount up to their available balance. However, I have been informed that some vendors are still imposing a minimum limit, and I would like to urge them to stop this practice immediately. As a consequence for this illegal practice, there are two things that can and will be done. The merchant's machine can be taken away and they can be blacklisted, which would not allow them to acquire a machine at any other bank. As stated in the press release, customers are encouraged to report any violations. If you experience any such issues, which I have been seeing on social media platforms lately, please email your report to St. Martin Bankers Association at gmail.com. Point number 2, Amended Budget 2024. The amended budget for 2024 has been sent to Parliament, and tomorrow at 11 a.m., I will be in Parliament to present this amended budget of 2024. We hope to have it approved by the end of October 2024 to be able to proceed with the payment of both the 2% and 1% COLA indexation to the subsidized school teachers who have been long awaiting this payment. Point number 3, Budget 2025. I have received the advice on the 2025 budget from CFT, and we're making some minor changes and amendments to the budget to send it to the Council of Advice. Once the amended budget for 2024 is completed, we will move forward with the handling of the 2025 budget with the aim of finalizing it by the deadline of December 15th, 2024. Additionally, in the Budget 2025, an extra salary indexation of 2% and vacation allowance increase of 1% is included. I want to assure the teachers from the subsidized schools that unlike this year, there will be no discrepancy between when they receive their funds compared to civil servants. I can assure you that all increases are included in the 2025 budget. Enya. Yesterday, Parliament approved the outline agreement, including the addendum and the matching rights Mullet Bay term sheet. I want to extend my thanks to all the members of Parliament who voted in favor. The most surprising vote came from the former Minister of Finance, the Honorable MP Artwell, who voted against an improved solution that he originally brought to Parliament. Moreover, he is the one who signed off on tying the COVID loans interest to the Enya solution and now voted against it. His explanation was that he was uncertain about the stance the Parliament of Curaçao would take. I strongly believe that it is unacceptable to allow the people of St. Martin to bear the costs for BES, Suriname, and Enya's operational expenses simply because of uncertainty regarding Curaçao's decision. As Minister of Finance, my priority will always be to safeguard the interests of St. Martin. We must stop worrying about what others might do and have the courage to stand firm for the benefit of our country and its people. Lastly, St. Martin Financial Literacy Month. Looking ahead, November is Financial Literacy Month on St. Martin, and we will be offering several free sessions for the public and civil servants. These sessions will cover the following topics: how to fill out your income tax form, understanding your payslip, which is key. This will be a specific session for civil servants explaining how their payslips are calculated, as it is important for individuals to understand this. Corporate governance presented by SOAB, an introduction to the Caribbean Guilder presented by the Central Bank, and a session on business taxes and filings. The full schedule and details for these sessions, along with the registration link, will be published at the end of the month.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to remember to help keep you and your family safe. 6 hours before hurricane strikes, remember, If you're not in an area that is recommended for evacuation, plan to stay at home or where you are and let friends and family know where you're located. Close storm shutters and stay away from windows. Flying glass from broken windows could injure you. Turn your refrigerator or freezer to the coldest setting and only open it when necessary. If you lose power, food will last longer. Keep a thermometer in the refrigerator to be able to check the food temperature when the power is restored. For the latest weather updates and emergency instructions, turn on your TV and/or radio and visit stmartingov.org. This hurricane season, remember, it only takes one. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
An update regarding the Island Scout. The Island Scout, as you know, was the vessel that ran aground at Great Bay Beach near the site of the former Great Bay Sonesta. Vrami took custodianship of that ship, and we actually are still the custodian. Note, we're not the legal owner. Since that time, we have made several attempts to recoup the funds for this from the owner, and the deadline for this is fast approaching October 16th. There have been some challenges in receiving this funding, and as such, we have taken the decision to announce today that as of next week, the 17th of October, we will formally offer the ship up for sale to whoever is interested party in it. Let me just begin by sharing, of course, for those interested in purchasing this vessel, the IOM number. This number is very critical, and you can actually put this number into the International Vessel Finder, where you can see all details regarding the ship. That number is 9215220. I repeat, 9215220. Interested persons, please contact Min Vrami at stmartingov.org, expressing your interest in the boat, purchasing the boat, and you will, of course, receive information about from Thursday onward about possible viewing of the vessel, if interested. This again is the announcement that the government of St. Martin, Minister Vrami as custodian of Island Scout, will formally issue the ship for sale as of next week, Thursday the 17th. No, this is of course conditional. If the owner does appear and is able to finally reconcile his outstanding debt, the ship will of course then go towards him. But of course, in the interest of time, noting that we still have a very active hurricane season and FCCA conference coming up at the end of this month, we found it important to start this process ahead of the October 16th deadline. So again, interested persons, Min Vrami at stmartingov.org to express your interest in purchasing the vessel. Just some brief information. The gross tonnage is, of course, 1,931 tons, and the year of the build is 1999, and it's under the flag of the state of Panama. A bit more positive news. We actually began the road resurfacing project last week. We began the first road, which is Yanshu Raskin Boulevard, which is, as we know, the road that goes from the Vineyard Building into Point Blanche. The course of the last couple of days, the contractor has been busy milling the road, and up until we left this morning at 2 a.m., we finished 190, well, not we, but they, I was there for support. We milled 190 meters, and will now, between the course of tonight and tomorrow, be laying the first layer of asphalt in the section from Chesterfields until the military area on that boulevard. The idea is, of course, it will then continue on to Vineyard and then also into the entrance of Point Blanche. I ask again the continued support of the residents of Point Blanche and, of course, persons undertaking business activities during the course of the day. All work is, of course, happening during the night. I'd like to thank everybody for their cooperation. This project, of course, is part of the 5.7 million guilders allocated. From this, we'll move to LB Scott Road and then on to Arch Road as the month progresses. Important to note as well that next year we also have an allocation of 10 million for resurfacing. So what we're doing in this last couple of months is just doing the urgent major roads that really need our attention, and particularly with drainage. And then finally, this morning, I received a notification of works ongoing at what is the former diamond plantation. We have understood that there is no permits issued at all for work down there, and as such, I have sent the inspection department to investigate what is going on. You recall about over a year ago, a work stop was issued for that area. And of course, now this morning, seemingly, we have received messages that heavy equipment is on site again. I'd like to also stress to everybody that it's very important to realize that even when it comes to things like monuments, preservation, and garbage, it's not the Minister of Rummy who is the one destroying these monuments. It's not the Minister of Rummy or the government who is throwing garbage on the road. It is individuals who live in St. Martin, who are part of our society. So I cannot be held accountable if we don't hold ourselves accountable for our individual actions. I think for a very long time, in the course of the last couple of months, I've received almost daily trash in Phillipsburg, trash not being collected. The reality is there is a schedule that exists. There's a schedule of how garbage is collected. So if you're collecting garbage on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you dump garbage at Tuesday, 1 a.m., it will stay there until Wednesday when it's collected. I think it's the responsibility of everyone to realize how they impact their environment and their society. It's not government's responsibility at all to monitor what happens. Government sets the framework, and society and everybody, including myself, has to follow rules for a decent place to live. So while I very much understand the sort of unfortunate situation of showing up into town in an alley and finding garbage, everyone blaming the Ministry of Rummy and government, it is not I or any of my colleague ministers who has put the garbage there. It's individuals who also form part of society who are also to blame. So again, it's about holding yourself accountable. Government will play, of course, its part. I think it's very important, and I think the minister will take very much so. We do need an education campaign, and I think also we have had a discussion within Rummy how we're going to actually work with the Minister of Justice in terms of increasing the fines. Because a number of these fines are, lack of a better word, pathetic. If I'm being charged 90 guilders, I probably won't get it enforced, I will just litter. And the reality is until we begin to realize that government, for example, picking up garbage and picking up cars, 73,000 guilders a year average is spent on collecting car wrecks. Think of those programs in terms of scholarship for students, in terms of health care, in terms of education costs. So your lack of care accountability costs government money, where those funds can be allocated for much more beneficial things like social programs and education and healthcare. So it's a question about taking accountability and realizing that we're all part of the problem, but I think part of the solution as well.